Utie oha extra ponkno. Needs FM.
Good afternoon, Segbefia Esquire.
Good afternoon, Adakabe, and good afternoon to all your listeners. Long time.
Certainly long time. We will meet at the barbers. Don't worry.
No problem.
Tell us, we are told you've gone to a meeting ostensibly to agree on a roadmap to ending vigilantism, but the team did not have the requisite capacity to sign on behalf of the NDC. Can you tell us what must have happened?
Thank you so much, Adakabe, for the opportunity to explain this issue. The NDC is committed to ensuring that we sign a document, namely a code of conduct and a roadmap, that will help us to begin the journey of eradicating vigilantism from our system. However, we are very clear in our mind that we do not want to sign a document that has got no teeth or cannot be monitored or measured. And therefore, we were of the view that the signing ceremony was a bit premature because certain factors had not been dealt with or looked at clearly. And what do I mean by that? The code of conduct and the roadmap has 22 recommendations. Of the recommendations, 4 of them are strictly for those that are for political parties. The remaining 18 are recommendations and directions for government, EC, NCC, security agencies, civil service society organizations, etc. And therefore, the political party have no way of enforcing it or monitoring it. So our view was a very simple one to start with. We felt that just by allowing the political parties to sign, you had no way of ensuring that what you were signing was going to happen, except all the others who have a part to play in the roadmap also sign onto it. And once they do that, they are also then bound by the content of the roadmap and the issues. Therefore, we felt that we were not in a position to sign the document at the time because it was premature, and we felt that once we were able to sit down with the Peace Council and explain these issues and tell them what our difficulties were, a consensus could be reached, and then we would be in a position to sign the document. In fact, the document itself, the part that relates to the political parties, actually, technically, we've already signed onto it because all the things that were mentioned in the roadmap are issues that we had already signed on in communiques. You know, we've met a number of times, and communiques have been passed saying that we have committed ourselves to eradicating vigilantism from our body politic, etc., and we would not encourage or protect, etc. These have all already been signed in communiques. So in actual fact, if one wants to be very direct about it, we were going to sign something that was for 18 other recommendations, which we are signing, but we cannot enforce or deal with. And we thought that was not the best. We can all sign, but we should get all those who are also involved to sign. Then collectively, we all know that we have a responsibility, and we can then all be monitored by the Peace Council.
Notwithstanding these reservations you talk about, yes, the team went ahead to sign or to supervise the signing of the document by the NPP. What do you make of it?
Well, the NPP, as far as they were concerned, had no problem with signing the document. But that did not also surprise us in any shape, form, or fashion. Our issue was that we had to apologize to the Peace Council because we had drafted a letter which was supposed to go to them due to an administrative lapse. The letter actually never reached them. Had it reached, they would have known our position even before we got to the meeting. Be that as it may, the contents of what we said, we made very clear at the meeting. And if you actually want to be really objective, you see, vigilantism is such an important thing that we do not believe that we have to do something for optics. When I say optics, we do not believe that we should do anything that when we do, it cannot improve. It cannot improve. We want it to completely and totally improve. And therefore, if you have a situation where we are just going to sign a document which we cannot monitor, we cannot hold anybody responsible for, then it is for visual, it's for optics, it's for people to say, oh, something has been done. And we do not believe that is the way forward. We are so committed to this process that we feel that by the time we append our signature, all these issues can be clearly dealt with. Now, Adabakar, let me give you a little history.
Okay.
When we started this process, you remember the president just wanted the NDC and the NPP to meet. We said, not a good idea. It cannot work. We need people to facilitate. After letters to and fro, it was decided after our recommendation that the Peace Council should get involved and come and be almost to help with the facilitation. The Peace Council came on board. At the very first meeting we had with the Peace Council and the MPP, our counterparts, we made it clear that we cannot restrict this matter just to NDC MPP because it's bigger than that. Every institution has a part to play. When people are arrested, first they won't be arrested, then they get arrested. They go to court. The issues are not dealt with properly. They say it happens mostly at elections. So the EC knows about some of these things and they have their concerns about where the political parties play. So all of them should be part and parcel of the program. MPP disagreed and said it is just us, we should solve our problem. At that point, we said, look, this is not the best way forward, but for peace, let us go ahead. The Peace Council said, look, we will invite others to do presentation. So NCC did presentation to us, the police did presentation to us, civil society organizations did presentation. But the Electoral Commission never attended or ever did a presentation for us in all our meetings. The government itself never did a presentation or came to any of the meetings. The judiciary or the judicial service never did a presentation or came for any of the meetings. But if you look at the 22 recommendations, you will realize that there's things that the government must do. There's things that the EC must do. There's things that you would expect the security agencies to do. And how do you write all these things when they have not even been part of our meeting, and they are also not going to sign the document that makes the document complete? So we said, it's premature. Let's have a meeting and call them and ask them, this vigilance issue, how do you see, how does it affect your work? What do you think we should be doing? So that at least you have their take and their views. Then after that, when they are signing, they know what they are signing for. But to tell us to sign a document which we have no control over, even the people who are being asked to work on the roadmap are not present. We thought that we were doing eye service instead of actually challenging and dealing with the issues of vigilantism. Another issue is that the government is key to the signing. Why? The government set up a commission of inquiry on the same Ayawaso West Wagon, which triggered this meeting. The recommendations were brought. Government didn't tell anybody what the recommendations were for 6 months. We all had to sit down and wait. They come out with a white paper after they then publish it after 6 months. And in effect, say that what the work of the commission was not correct. And therefore, this is not done and we won't do this, that. And in the end, more or less made the work of the commission zero.
When you do that, and now we have done a document which is now giving this same government duties to perform, and they are not even signatories to it, how can you then confirm that they are actually going to go ahead with what you are asking them to do? So we are saying, please, bring all the parties who are part of this roadmap. Let them sign so that we also sign. By the way, there's a little part that is also missing. When we were having the discussion, we talked about recruitment into the security agencies because of what we had heard from the commission and also the issue of the hours who were gone. So we wanted a recommendation as well, which will look at possible ways and means of purging the security agencies of some of these recruited people as a start. Nowhere is it mentioned in the recommendations that are there.
Okay.
So we want an effective document that can work.
Right.
And we want to do it for the people of Ghana. So we will sign. But it is early yet. Let us have the meeting with the Peace Council. Let us look at what we are asking for. And then when that is in place, we are always ready to sign. We don't want the process to stop. We think it should go on. And we have written a letter already to the Peace Council regarding what I'm talking about now.
Right.
We did it yesterday, and we sent it to them last night and today.
Right. Just before you go, Mr. Segbefia.
Yes, sir.
You are a barrister who has worked with the Crown Office in the UK before, and obviously very familiar with the system there. Yes. And now we are told there's been this investigation over a 4-year period, which has resulted in a deferred prosecution agreement between the Serious Fraud Office in the UK and that of Airbus Industry in Europe.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what your understanding of the basic terms relating to Ghana is about on the DPA?
I'm not in a position to tell you because I don't have the document. I haven't read the document. Even I'm told that it's not one document. I'm told that there's also other documentation other than the one from the UK. So it is not something I can comment on, Adakabe, with all the my best will in the world. I am also interested in the fact that, notwithstanding the fact that I haven't read the document, I'm told that the president has said that there should be an inquiry. If there's going to be an inquiry, it means that as they are sitting there, they don't have all the facts. If we don't have all the facts, what am I coming to discuss? Let them do the inquiry. Bring your facts. We will discuss it. By that time, we would also all have read the documentation. But I haven't read it, so I cannot comment. More importantly, the government says they are doing investigation. All I know is that there are no names. They are talking about Ghana, this person, that person. And I'm only listening on radio and hearing what people are saying. But as a lawyer, Adakabe, if I haven't read the document, I'm not in a position to comment on it because it's a legal document. So I want to read it, digest it, and then we can have the conversation. But even after reading and digesting it, I would want to hear what the investigation from the government brings forth. Not without that, then we are all talking in the wind because nobody has the detail or the fact. But for those who want to play politics because it's useful for them, they should go ahead. But that, for those of us who are lawyers, it doesn't tell us anything. We can speculate and do the mischief, as I call it. But if the government itself has come out to say they need to do an investigation on it, then to go, so be it. We'll wait for the outcome of the investigation.
In the circumstances, anybody who holds adverse view of your political party has been engulfed in corruption, would that person be entitled to hold such a view?
Not really at all. On what basis is the person holding the view? No, the government itself says we don't know the facts. We are going to look for information. So on what basis are you holding that view? If you are biased enough to want to hold that view, that is your issue.
We will leave it here.
We cannot force anybody to do this or that. But if you are saying on facts, the government itself says we are investigating. On what basis then? In a document where there are no names, please. Let's get the facts and let the inquiry go ahead. And then we can all discuss what comes out of it in a very informed manner. But at the moment, all I hear and I see is politics being played. And that we understand it too because we are in the game. So let's see how we go. But some of us will not jump into that gutter yet.
Right. We thank you so much for your valuable time this afternoon at NEAT FM.
Thank you very much, Adakabe.
Right.
Utie Oha Extreme Punk no. NEAT FM.